Hey there. Today, I want to talk about sleep and how sleep affects not only digestion, but overall health. So, let's go ahead and dive right in. All right. So, I want to talk a little bit about my philosophy and what functional medicine is all about. So, our bodies are interconnected, all the systems. So, the systems can talk to one another through nerves and through chemicals. So, the reason this is important is because if you have a symptom like hair loss and you think to yourself, I want to fix my hair loss. So, I'm going to take some vitamins and I'm going to start using a shampoo, that has more nutrients in it, and then I'm going to be fine. You just have to realize that there's more to it than that because your hair is, interconnected into other systems. So you could be having a thyroid problem that's causing your hair loss. Your stress could be causing your hair loss, adrenal glands. So all of those things matter. And it's a bigger picture way of looking at your health. Secondly, we are all unique. We all have different genes, different experiences, different illnesses in the past. So there's not one treatment for anything. So if you go to the doctor and, it's the same medication that he gives for everything, just know that it's not the best plan. Really want to dig deeper into some other things. Everything matters. Love this. So, our lifestyle habits, what you're doing on a daily basis, your thoughts, your beliefs, your nutrition, all of those things matter, your environment. So, we can't just take a look at food. A lot of times when we get digestive issues, everybody is very focused on food, and the food is the reason, and there's much more to it than that. So, what we're really looking to find is the root cause. So, your symptom is not the root cause. Your diagnosis is not the root cause. We have to back it up and understand why you have those issues. Okay. So, it's just much more than that. So we're digging deeper, understanding what things in your life have happened that caused these disruptions in your body that are now this domino effect that have led to symptoms and maybe even a disease or a diagnosis. Okay. Health requires balance, it requires harmony in the body. And our bodies are amazing. They are meant to heal themselves. They're meant to be able to, you know, notice if an infection has come in the body and then to grab a hold of it and get rid of it all on its own. But if things have been going on for a while and these disruptive habits have been causing injury or damage in your body, then after a while, it's very difficult for your body to heal itself. And that's when disease can really, show up. So, you know, again, if you're routinely stationary, not eating healthy, you're exposed to a lot of toxins, that's going to affect your body and prevent it from being in balance or in harmony. So that's what we definitely want to do. We want to find that homeostasis. So let's get into sleep. So, sleep is pretty crazy. I mean, think about our lifetime. We sleep a third of our lives. Okay. And sleep is super important because it's restorative. It's when we heal and when we get rid of toxins and make new enzymes and make new blood. So, it's super, super important. And sleep affects all of the cells and tissues. It's essential. It's as essential as food and water. And what we found is, with very poor sleep quality and length, there is an increase in risk of disease, especially, the very common diseases such as diabetes, cancer, heart disease. So, sleep and the immune system. So, when we think about overall health, we really want to think about our immune system because that is the system that fights illness, that fights bacteria and viruses. So, what you want to think about is that, when we're sleeping, that's when our body is making new white blood cells. Those white blood cells are the things that are going to attack the viruses and the bacteria so we can stay healthy. The immune system relies on sleep to make energy. We need energy in our body for all of our functions to actually happen. So we have to be constantly making new energy. And, the body's demands decrease dramatically when we sleep because we're shifting to that rest. We're in that parasympathetic nervous system. And this is when the body can renew itself, restore itself. That's the important thing. So let's talk about certain factors that affect sleep. We're going to be going over things that you can do on your own today. Okay. So, ways that you can improve your own sleep by thinking about why you may not be getting good quality sleep. So, think about these things. What are you eating before bed? Are you eating spicy food or are you eating a big meal right before bed? That is going to be problematic because, for one thing, digestion is going to be happening soon after that. And so, when we digest, the majority of our energy is going into digesting the food. But it's going to be difficult for you to sleep and for all of the other things to take place when your body is digesting. Your body is in that active phase. Pets. I love pets. I had a cat that always slept with me, but if you have a pet that specifically wakes you up, like knocks you on the head or barks or something like that, and that's preventing you from sleeping, then you may want to try to find a different place for your pet to sleep because that's something that, is easily fixable. Let's see, amount of light, sleeping in a very dark environment. So let's talk a little bit about melatonin. Melatonin is a hormone we have that gets our body ready for sleep. So at night, when the sun goes down, our melatonin levels rise, gets our body ready. If at any point we have a ton of lights on in the house, or we're always looking at electronics, or in the middle of the night we wake up and turn on a bright light to go to the bathroom, that is kind of jarring for the body and it decreases your melatonin. We want our melatonin level to be high so our body can be in rest. And then in the morning, the melatonin is very low, and that's when we're waking up. So that light is causing an issue with the melatonin and preventing us from being able to sleep. Alcohol. Alcohol, nicotine, all these things can be stimulants for the body. Plus, alcohol, there's a lot of energy that goes into detoxing alcohol through the liver. So when you're drinking alcohol, even though you think you might, be getting a really good night's sleep with alcohol, it's actually affecting your REM sleep and you're not getting as good or quality sleep as you think you are. I talked a little bit about light. So computers, phones, iPads, they emit a blue light. That blue light affects our melatonin. So, again, if you're constantly in front of a computer all day and then all into the night, it is not allowing your melatonin level to rise to prep your body for bed. So, it's always better to a lot of people you see they wear the glasses that can help decrease the amount of blue light that's coming in, or it's just best to go ahead and get off of all of your electronics and give yourself a break at least 2 hours before bed. Drop in blood sugars, um, uh, pain, anxiety, all of those things can affect your sleep. So let's look at we're going to make this really simple. The two most important ways that you can improve your own sleep. Number one is to stick to a sleep wake cycle. I'm sure you've heard the word circadian rhythm. That is our sleep cycle is based off of day and night. We are awake and active and doing things during the day. We are asleep, restoring, rejuvenating at night. So our body loves to be on a schedule and it wants to go to bed at the same time and wake up at the same time. And the more that you can do that and stay on that schedule, the better and the better quality sleep you're going to have. So we will talk a little bit more about this, but anything that you can do to stick to going to bed within a 30-minute time, both weekdays and the weekend is going to allow your body to stay on that circadian rhythm and give you better sleep. Forming a slow down routine, super, super important. Why? Because during the day, we are in our sympathetic nervous system the majority of the time. Our cortisol, our epinephrine is like running around. We're doing things, we're thinking, thinking, thinking. We're really active. And that's not where we are when we go to sleep. We have to shift from that sympathetic nervous system to the parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest. So we have to have this routine where we can calm our bodies down to know what things to do that can get us ready for bed. Super, super important. And we'll talk a little bit about creating your own plan. Now, some days you may need more than others because, sometimes there's just days where you can't turn off your brain. You're just thinking and thinking and thinking, or there was something that you've been worrying about over and over again, and you just can't seem to turn it off. On those days, when you get into the night, you may have to do some extra things. So I'm going to give you a lot of different things that you can try. And so you can have those in a tool chest so you can use them for a slow down routine. All right, so let's look at how to improve sleep. So these are just going to be some things that we already talked about: being consistent, going to bed and waking up at the same time, avoiding large meals, alcohol, nicotine, caffeine before bed, not exercising about 3 hours before bed, because again, you're in that sympathetic nervous system and we need to shift you into the parasympathetic. Turning off all electronics because of that blue light. You can calm yourself down by taking a cool shower or a warm bath, getting your body a little more relaxed and ready for bed. Lowering the lights in the entire house. So when it's time to eat dinner, you can kind of turn off all the overhead lights and turn on lamps. And then as you get closer and closer to bed, you can turn off those lamps so it's darker and darker in the house. Sleeping in complete darkness, you may even want to consider blackout shades if that's been an issue for you. You can wear a sleep mask. I do recommend having something like a night light if you have to walk down the hall to go to the restroom and you need some way to get there without having to turn on an overhead light. That can be a really nice option. Temperature of the room. Studies and research have shown that it's easiest to sleep between 62 degrees and 68 degrees. And you just have to play around with that and see what your body likes. I found that I like to wear, like a little bit, not a lot, and have more layers that I can put on. But once I get hot and I wake up, it's very hard to get back to sleep. So, our bodies, we want to be in a cooler room. We want our core body temperature to actually decrease when we're going to bed. So, that's why that cool shower can be nice. That can bring our core temperature down right before we're starting to relax a little bit more to go to bed. So, we talked a lot about sympathetic nervous system, shifting over to the parasympathetic nervous system. The way we do that is to activate the vagus nerve. The vagus nerve starts in the brain, it runs down our neck, through the chest, through the diaphragm, and into the gut. Okay. And this wandering nerve is what they call it because it's a very long nerve. It, when activated, shifts us like pretty immediately from that fight or flight, that stress response, to the rest and digest where we're getting ready to go to bed. So it's super, super important to know how to do this and play around with these things because some of these will be easier for you and your body to relax. So, like I said, the nerve comes down here. So, one of the things you can do is to sing or hum. When you do that, you're vibrating in your throat, and that vibration is going to activate the vagus nerve as it runs down both sides. Okay. So, singing or humming, and you want to do that for a period of time to really activate it. Meditation, closing your eyes. Really, what we're doing when we're meditating is trying to turn off our busy, active brain. We're trying to lower our thoughts down into the heart where we're feeling instead of thinking. So, if you can just sit anywhere and kind of try to, it's hard to turn off your brain, but just shift your brain down to your heart and think about feeling. That's going to help you as well. Gargling, again, that is that vibration in the neck. You can gargle water or something that you're using after you brush your teeth. And you probably want to gargle for a good 30 seconds and, kind of a heavy, hard gargle. Um, Massaging. So you can massage behind your ears, and that will kind of activate those nerves. What I like to do is take my finger in my ear right here and kind of pull down on it a little bit, and that will help as well. So you can massage your feet. You can massage your temples. You can massage in between your eye. So those are all things that can help as well. Essential oils. I love essential oils. I actually use lavender every night. I also have a spray that if you want to know anything about it, you can comment and I will send you the information about the spray. It's called Dream and it's absolutely wonderful. Since I've been using that the last 2 weeks, I've had really great night sleeps. And then slow breathing, deep, slow breathing. You've heard about my belly breathing if you've been following me. And again, the reason is because when you expand your belly as you're inhaling, it is activating your diaphragm to move, and that vagus nerve basically sits right through the diaphragm. And so it's going to activate that nerve. It's going to calm you down. Okay. So this is an example of a slow down routine. So I want you to think about all the things that we've mentioned and I want you to play around with them. Try them out for the next week and see what works for you. And then make your own slow down routine. And then have like 4 things, 3 things, 2 things, whatever you need to get you ready for bed. But then have a list of other things that you might need to do on those days when you're really revved up, really stuck in your brain, or you've been worrying or something. Okay. So lower lights at 7 p.m. So as you're, maybe finishing dinner or eating dinner, you're turning off the overhead lights and dimming everything else. Stop using your electronics at 8. This may be a day where you're like, oh, you got angry at somebody and you're just feeling like those emotions are still inside and they're going to prevent you from sleeping. Grab a journal. Don't even think, just start writing. Get those emotions and those feelings out. Write down the experience, write down what that person said, how you felt exactly. It's just key of getting that emotion out. Okay. Listen to a meditation, play some soft, relaxing music, and then you can do legs up the wall. Love this. It's a yoga pose where you're down on the ground and you actually scoot your rear end close to the wall and you have your legs basically on a wall and you're just relaxing there. You can do your nice, long, slow breathing there. You can just close your eyes and relax. Again, you can do your meditation where you're getting out of your head and moving into your heart. Do this for 5 to 20 minutes. It's absolutely a great way to calm your body down. It's also going to drain blood and lymph from your feet. So if you've been on your feet all day, it's going to drain all that back to the heart. So it's super, super wonderful pose for a lot of reasons. All right, so now I want to move into this fun stuff. So, Chinese medicine really is based on qi, which is our life force flow. It's our energetic flow through the body, and it can get blocked. And so, during the day and the evening, our body's always trying to open up the qi pathways so things can move through our body. And basically, there is a clock in the Chinese medicine where there's an organ kind of related to every hour of the day and the night. And we're going to look at the night because we're talking about sleep. And this time is when these organs are at peak. They are repairing. They're going through a maintenance phase. Okay. So we're going to look at 9 to 11. And this is the triple burner. This is really our endocrine system. So it's more about our metabolism and the emotion that is linked to this organ system is joy or lack of joy or depression or hopelessness. Okay. So if these organ systems, if the chi surrounding these organ systems is blocked, then you're going to have a lot of sadness, hopelessness, a lack of joy. If it's open and moving, then you're going to have a lot of joy. Okay. So when this is in an imbalance, you are going to have feelings of guilt. You're going to feel sad. You may have adrenal fatigue, and on and on. You can look at this list. So, the tips are to consider going to bed earlier because, again, between 9 and 11, that's when this organ system is repairing itself, where we're opening up that chi, where we're able to kind of shunt the energy to this organ system so it can start working better. So if you find yourself having a lot of heavy emotions, a lot of depression or hopelessness, then it's better for you to try to go to bed at 9 so you have the full 2 hours where these organs are able to repair themselves. Let's move on to 11 to 1. This is the gallbladder time. The emotion that is linked to the gallbladder is indecisiveness. This is very interesting because I find that this is coming up for me a lot lately. So, the gallbladder is very connected to the liver. Basically, the liver makes bile, shunts it into the gallbladder, and then the gallbladder kind of pushes it out as we eat fat because the bile breaks down fat. Okay. So, when the gallbladder is imbalanced, when it's not functioning properly, you may feel very indecisive. You may not be able to make decisions easily. You may have poor judgment. You may find yourself sighing. And over the weekend, I was sighing all the time. I was going, and it just like would come up. I had no control over it. Shyness, resentment, all of those things may be coming up. So that's something to think about. Tips: avoiding alcohol. Alcohol is basically going to need to be detoxed out. It can feel very heavy and be problematic for your liver. Your liver is the one that basically detoxifies your alcohol. And small dinner before bedtime and no snacking before bedtime. So, interesting, fun stuff. Between 1 and 3. Now, this is probably the majority of the time that people wake up. And so this is important because the liver is a very important organ that has over 500 um, 500 things that it has to do for us on a regular basis. And this is linked heavily to anger and irritability. So if you're having a lot of anger in your life, or you feel like when somebody says something, all of a sudden you're getting very angry and you can't even control it, we need to look at your liver. Okay. So you can see the symptoms of imbalance, explosive anger, bottled up emotions, all of these things can give you signs that your liver needs more help. Your liver needs more support. And that's something that I look at with everyone because, in my opinion, we all need liver support because our liver is taxed often because it has to detox things and we're exposed to so many toxins nowadays. Our liver gets very sluggish and it can't function as well. So, this is always a very important part of treatment for my clients. So, this is just something to think about. Okay. Lung, the lungs between 3 and 5. And this is sadness and grief. So, if you've had a lot of sadness in your life and you feel like it's kind of stuck in your body, then you may notice that you don't breathe as well. You may notice that you just don't feel uplifted or have a lot of joy. You may feel tired. You may get sick. You may have a sore throat. You may have a runny nose. You may have headaches. Your allergies may be acting up. So this is telling you, and you may find yourself waking up at this time of night because again, your lungs aren't working and repairing as well as they should. This is kind of that sign. I always say those red flags, your symptoms are red flags. These are going to be symptoms that we need to look at your lungs. We need to really look at your sadness. We need to work on those emotions. Okay. Breathing exercises are great. The more you do that controlled breathing, that can increase your lung capacity, which is super important, and writing down your emotions. I'm all about letting go of your emotions, and not by doing something else, not by going for a run, not by exercising, not by going to a movie and watching Netflix. It's actually about sitting in the emotion and not judging it at all, and moving away from it. Okay, that's super, super important. When you don't do that and when you're just doing other things, you're not letting that emotion go. You're stuffing it down into your body, and it's causing a lot of this illness. And lastly, 5 to 7 a.m. is your large intestine, that's your colon. And this is anger and frustration. And the function of the large intestine, as you know, I mean, this is where we get rid of all of the things we no longer need. This is where our bowel movements come from. Um, and the symptoms can be constipation, of course, dry stool, skin rashes, feeling stuck. Whenever you feel stuck, you're probably going to have constipation. Those two things go together completely. So, basically, one of the things you can certainly do is drink some water right when you get up to flush your system. You can always put a little bit of lemon in there. You can put a little bit of apple cider vinegar, but really plain warm water can actually kind of activate the system. But this is the time when most of us get up and go to the restroom because this is when the large intestine is active and this is when we are going to have a bowel movement. So I just love to talk about all of those things. So when you look back and you realize I'm getting up at the same time every single day, this is what I want you to think about. I want you to go to the emotion first, and I want you to think about trying to deal with that emotion, and then we can always support that organ. So my recommendation is to go to bed by 10:30. 10 is even better because you want to be asleep when that gallbladder starts to do its stuff. You definitely want to be asleep when your liver is repairing, okay? Because this is when you detoxify the body, this is when your hormones are balanced, and this is when you process emotions. Super, super important. Now, I do want to go over one thing. If you have done a lot of this work and you don't feel like you're falling into any of these categories, there is a time when certain people that eat early, maybe 6:30, most nights when they go to sleep and they're sleeping soundly and they have a great sleep, but they're finding themselves kind of waking up. And sometimes you think you have to go to the restroom, but you may be waking up at the same time around 3. It could be because you have a drop in your blood glucose. Okay. So you've digested your food, you've your pancreas has released insulin to take the blood sugar out of the sugar out of the blood and put it into the liver for later. Then that release, all of a sudden your brain is like, oh, I don't have enough sugar in my blood. I need to activate the adrenal glands to release some cortisol and then to activate the liver to take some of the glucose and bring it into the bloodstream. So that's going to be very jarring for the body, and you're going to wake up and you're not going to realize why you're waking up. So if this is happening, what you can do is you can do a little experiment and you basically take a little bit of protein before you go to bed. And this is a tiny little bit of protein that's going to fit into your palm. It could be like 6 nuts. It could be a tiny piece of chicken. It could be like a little teaspoon of nut butter. And sometimes just having that amount of protein before bed is going to allow you to sleep throughout the night and not have that drop in blood pressure. And that can also have something to do with what you ate for dinner. It can be the timing of dinner, and it can also be that maybe your dinners aren't as balanced, well balanced as they could be. And when I say well balanced, I mean protein, I mean lots and lots of veggies, and I mean healthy fat. All right, so the importance of sleep. Quality sleep is essential for our bodies to repair, for them to rejuvenate, for our immune systems to be strong, and for our digestive system to relax. One thing I didn't mention with the melatonin is when our melatonin is high, that's when our digestion actually slows down. When our melatonin is low during the day, that's when our digestion is more active. That's when we're having food moving through the digestive system. So you can see where there's that link between melatonin and sleep. Sleep plays a crucial role in regulating hormones like cortisol and melatonin, and both of those are vital for your health. And downtime during sleep allows your gut to rest, to repair, to regenerate, which is super important because during the day we may be having stress that's causing damage to our gut. We may be eating things that are causing damage to our gut, just having toxins in the air that we breathe, things like that. So we want our digestive system to be able to relax and repair. And you'll find that when you have a good night's sleep, you're going to think better. You're not going to have that brain fog. Your mood is going to be more stable and you're going to be able to handle stress a little bit better. So, thank you so much. I hope that you have taken these, these tools with you so you can understand, at least to start off, to improve your sleep. Look at your surrounding. That's always the number one. Look at your light, look at the temperature, look at, if you have animals that are waking you up. All of those things are super important. And then look at your system. Are you relaxed? I've given you lots of things to do to relax your body. Super important to do that every single night. And what I would love to offer you is what I call a root cause call. So if you just feel like you don't understand, you want to understand your body a little bit more, you want to understand your gut, why you're not sleeping, this is a 15-minute call that you can schedule with me. And I'm basically going to ask you some questions about your life because, like I said, we're all unique. So I want to know what's going on with you. And then I can help you pinpoint your specific root causes. So then you can understand how you can help yourself. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I want to put this link into the chat so you can click it. And what I recommend is when you go to the page, before you start to look at a time, I want you to go to the time zone and click that and pull down your time zone. Make sure it's in your time zone before you schedule a call. And then we'll get on the phone and we'll talk all about what's going on with you and I'll help you understand what's truly going on in your body, what your true root causes are. All right, thank you so much. Bye-bye.